Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jordan. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. Obviously, if you have clicked on this video, it's because you were wondering if this iPhone 8 is still even reasonably a good choice in 2021 going into 2022 with the new iPhone 13 that has just come out. So let's go ahead and dive into this right now. So I purchased the brand new iPhone 13. Not the mini, not like the Pro or the Pro Max, just the regular 13 because I wanted something a little bit bigger than the mini, and I didn't want something that was going to be super expensive. For $800, I got the 13. Product red, it's pretty spectacular. And so after having the iPhone 13 for a little over a month now, I mean, is it really worth it? Was it really worth it for me to upgrade from the iPhone 8? And I'm going to say 100% no. And the main reason for that is because I had used this phone for a little bit over 2 years, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, somewhere around there. And this phone, as of right now, is still a fantastic phone. I do miss the home button, and I know you guys probably do. Some of you probably don't care that the new iPhones don't have home buttons, but honestly, to be honest, I kind of really miss that. And, you know, sometimes if I'm laying in bed and I gotta swipe up, and I got the phone laying on my chest, and it's kind of hard for me, and then I gotta like lift up my hand, and then I gotta swipe up, you know, and do all that stuff. Yeah, kind of a pain in the ass, so pretty nice to have the home button. Another thing too, so the iPhone 13 wide, ultra wide camera, the iPhone 8 was a wide and a telephoto lens. I do miss having the telephoto lens, although I would say that having a wide and an ultra wide is pretty nice, but honestly, I would have much rather had an ultra wide and a telephoto lens. Now, that's to say too, obviously I know on the iPhone 13 you can go ahead and scroll in and you can have a quote-unquote telephoto lens for a 2x crop, but honestly it was just nice to be able to like kind of like, you know, open up the camera app and switch between the two type of thing with this. The iPhone 13, so this was the 8 Plus. The iPhone 13, while the display is technically bigger on the iPhone 13, the iPhone 8 is a lot wider, and I do kind of miss the wideness of this, so I will do a comparison so you guys can see the difference in size. But I mean, roughly, you know, missing about I would say a quarter to a half an inch of width between the two, maybe probably about a quarter of an inch from tip to tip. So the 13 is 6.1 inches diagonally from tip to tip, and this is 5.8 inches if I remember correctly. So, you know, I fly a lot of drones, especially having a nice wide phone like this for somebody that doesn't want to go out and maybe buy like the DJI Smart Controller for their, you know, flying drones and stuff, because the DJI Smart Controller is expensive. Buying a small tablet or something is kind of out of the price range. Having a phone on you basically 24/7 when you're out and about is pretty much what everybody carries around nowadays. I do kind of wish that there was an iPhone 13 Plus, maybe a little bit wider than this. Ergonomically, this phone is nice because it really fits in your hand. You can kind of do everything all in one on just the screen with one hand. The iPhone 8, a little bit chunky, so I mean, you know, there's a few times where like just trying to swipe from one side of the screen to the next on the iPhone 13, a little bit of a pain, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, it is what it is. It's a much wider phone. It was a lot bigger at the time. Still a really solid phone. So I'm not going to continue to go on about screen sizes. I have done side-by-side comparisons between the iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone 13. I actually did it in the review of the iPhone 13, which I will link up here or here, whatever side it is. Long story short, there was only a couple of apps that opened up faster on the 13 than they did on the iPhone 8. And in all honesty, Most of the apps on the 8 opened just as fast, and there's a few that did open faster on the 8 than they did on the 13. Honestly, I mean, I sat there for a good 15-20 minutes just scrolling through, opening up different apps. I don't know if it was because both of this phone and the 13 were signed into the same account on the same platforms, so like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Going through with both of them signed into Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, the iPhone 8 would actually refresh the screen for like Facebook and Instagram a lot faster than it would for the iPhone 13. And like I said, I'm not really 100% sure if that was because I was signed into both phones on both accounts. So like, you know, when I would open up Instagram or if I would open up Twitter, it would refresh on the iPhone 8 before it refreshed on the 13. I'm really not 100% sure, but I was just shocked on how fast that the iPhone 8 was still refreshing compared to a brand new unboxed phone that I had only had for maybe 6 hours, if that. Because I mean, when I first got this home, the first thing I did was I recorded an unboxing video, which, to be fair, I did take this out of the box in the parking lot and I did look at it and I played with it for a couple of minutes. But I mean, it wasn't more than a couple hours old at that point. So the iPhone 8, I would say, if you were still looking to get a new iPhone, or maybe if you were just wondering if it is even worth upgrading to the 13, which I also kind of mentioned in my iPhone 13 review, is honestly, if you don't absolutely need to upgrade from the iPhone 8 to a newer phone like a 13 or a 12 or an 11, because I was looking at the 12s and the 11s, because I was going to do an upgrade to like an 11 or a 12 Pro, and then like the 13s came out, so I was like, well, what's even the point of getting that? I might as well just upgrade to the latest and greatest phone, right? Yeah. So honestly, I mean, if I remember correctly, the battery life on this is at 86% right now, which brand new phone, 100%. Now, I can't say that I've been using these side by side on a daily basis to do comparisons with battery life. I can tell you that the battery life on the iPhone 13 is going to be a lot better. Obviously, like I said, this is at 86% now, but this would still get me through the day. And depending on how much you're using your phone, so like if you're fucking off on like social media a lot, I mean, obviously you're going to run through battery. There's really no like way around that unless you have a battery pack with you. This, I have noticed that, so I wake up roughly about 8:30, and then by about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, by the time I'm, getting ready to like kind of wind down at the end of the night, this is already at like 30 to 40%, depending on how much I'm using social media and swiping through apps and doing all that other stuff. I will say that the iPhone 8, obviously, I mean, the battery's a little bit older on this, but yes, the battery life not as good as the newer iPhones. The cameras, so the camera on the 13 is a lot better, and I will give it that advantage. It does, unfortunately, overly like digitally sharpen images, which I kind of really hate. But the contrast and the images that come out of the camera on the 13 without any sort of like editing or whatever are spectacular. I have noticed that like if you do zoom in to like a 5x on the camera, you do get some like really weird like artifacting, and it just looks super fake. I took a picture. I'm going to post it up here so you guys know what I'm talking about. But it just like out of 5x on the iPhone 13, the image quality just looks really like digital and like kind of like cartoonish almost, in my opinion. The iPhone 8, same thing though, but I mean, this camera came out in 2015, so like If you think about the technology that they were putting in the camera phones at that point, I mean, the iPhone 8, the camera technology that they had, I mean, has it really gotten any better? And I will say, like, yes, I mean, for some instances it has gotten better, especially like if you're shooting video and stuff, but it's still a very small sensor size. It doesn't matter how, like, now I can't say I haven't ever had a Pro or like a Pro Max, but honestly, I mean, if you're using these to take photos with and stuff, they're good, but they're not great. I'm sorry. A cell phone will never catch up to a fucking DSLR or mirrorless camera. I don't care what anybody says, never gonna happen. Especially not because, like, I mean, you think about a mirrorless or a DSLR, I'm able to swap lenses and get different focal lengths, different apertures, and all that goodies. Can't do that with a cell phone yet. Sorry. Anyways, the camera on the iPhone 8 is still pretty good. It is a lot less contrasty than the 13, and the colors aren't maybe as vivid. But I mean, you know, if you edit it a little bit before you throw it onto Instagram or Facebook, people really aren't going to really care about it. Because, I mean, as long as it's a cool photo, nobody really gives a shit anyways. They'll steal it, they'll use it as a cell phone background or whatever. But yeah, so if you guys were looking into the iPhone 8, maybe if you're looking to upgrade from like a 6 or a 7 at this point, and you maybe didn't want to get the brand new phone, the iPhone 8 is the last one with the home button, which I will miss. Hopefully, maybe Apple brings that back at some point in time, because I kind of liked it. But other than that, still a fantastic phone. I think that this phone will be pretty relevant for the next couple of years until Apple decides that they're no longer giving it updates or whatever. It is what it is, but fantastic phone. If you guys were looking for an iPhone 8 in 2021 going into 2022, yes, it's still worth it in my opinion, and that's me. That's not everybody else's opinion. It still makes phone calls, still makes text messages. You can still surf the internet on it. It does everything else another smartphone does. That's not the brand new one. So yes, iPhone 8 plus iPhone 8 still worth it. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, give it a like. If you didn't like this video, also give it a thumbs up and a like. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons. I'm Jordan, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.